Hi guys, Adam from Bishop Sheen Rosaries here today, and there's just some things that I gotta get off my chest. So this is gonna be a little freeform video, but I really want to know what my viewers have to think about this topic. So please, I encourage you, give feedback, comment down below, interact with other people. I really want to know where my audience is at in regards to these things, these topics that I'm about to bring up. You may remember about a year ago now posting a video called "Where Are All the Young Catholics Going?" And this video was filmed at the very beginning of what's called the All Things New campaign in the Archdiocese of St. And to catch all of my viewers up to speed who might not be familiar or aren't from St. Louis, we've got viewers all around the world, for crying out loud. So there's lots to get into with All Things New. We'll talk about that first, but then we're going to talk about my thoughts and just kind of an experience that I had yesterday. And I want to hear, like I said, where my audience is at with all of this. So stay tuned. I think this is a very important topic, very pertinent to our church and the world, the state of the church today. So let's hop right into it. Now, All Things New is a archdiocesan-wide campaign in St. Louis. Some have coined it as diocese downsizing. It's not that. It's more than that. I'm not going to make this video just to complain, but this is to bring up a much larger issue of somewhat bifurcation in the church, especially the role that people like myself, young Catholics, those starting families, can have, the impact that lifting your voice up and trying to be heard in some of these larger decisions for planning, especially the future generations of our church, how impactful you can be. So from planning and implementation to completely seeing the fruition of All Things New, this process will probably take the greater portion of this entire 20th decade. The last couple years have been more of that data gathering and planning phase, whereas the next few years will actually be making the plan, and then we'll see how it actually is implemented in the back half of this decade. So there's a lot going into this, a lot of hard work, a lot of people taking a lot of time, and a lot of parishioners, diocesan members giving feedback and going to listening sessions, giving survey results, and all of this is being compiled to make better informed decisions on the future of our diocese. It's no secret that our numbers are declining, and as a church we are aging, and these are numbers that the diocese has been completely drilling home, making sure everyone's aware of these things, that churches, because of vocations, lack of priests, lack of resources financially, we are going to have to limit the number of parishes and schools and other institutions in our diocese. And the thing about this is a lot of people are unhappy. You make big changes, you make broad sweeping changes, you make parishes have to merge with neighboring parishes. There's going to be a lot of butting of heads and a lot of angry villagers, if you will. This isn't just happening in St. Louis. This is happening in many dioceses across the country and across the world. A lot of people are facing the same issues that we are here in Missouri. Very important to know how we go forward the proper way to maximize our evangelical and our interior and sacramental life, our outreach, but also our interior worship and prayer. Now, I'll be completely honest, I went to a listening session at my parish yesterday, and some of the comments that I wanted to bring up were very well received, I'd say by 90% of the people at the parish, but there was a small cohort of rather older parishioners, I'll say they're probably all north of 70, that basically called me out and said, "You're young and you don't know how this parish has been historically, and it's actually gone downhill in the past years." Whereas my whole thesis was, because our church is so great at incorporating tradition and the old and the new, tradition and contemporary facets, we have something really special. Our numbers are growing, our families here are growing, we're having lots of baptisms, we have lots of great events, but we also have a beautiful sanctifying simplicity was the words that I used yesterday. There's something so important and holy going on in our church, and you can see it in the sacrament schedule. You can see it in the way that our priest organizes everything. And these are the kind of comments I was making, and a lot of people there I got good feedback from, especially the younger crowd. But those few older people, they turned around, they pointed at me, they basically said, "You're young and you don't know how it's been, and historically this church has been way better than it's been now, but it's because of things that you're saying that we've been driven away." These comments struck very deeply because it shows this bifurcation that's happening in our church, this really refusal to marry the old and the new, that people would rather leave the parish that they've been in for decades rather than embrace some of the change, for better or for worse. And I'm not saying that I always embrace change, or I always am so good at going with the flow of my current parish and being perfectly obedient. I'm not. But we have to start somewhere. And that was kind of the whole point of what I was saying, is our church is really good at starting to have that conversation. And moving forward, whatever church we might be merged with, we need to take these things into account. We need to be able to have conversations with different generations, with people from different backgrounds. We need to have conversations about how we're going to incorporate all these different perspectives in our new parish life. And this is the best way to, like I said, work on both that exterior evangelical aspect of being a parishioner and being a Catholic, but also reminding ourselves that it's because of what we find interior in the sacraments and everything that goes on in our own souls is the reason that we should be coming to church. It's the reason that we come back every Sunday. It's the reason that we go to prayer, is because there's something in our own souls that has been moved. And it is, for me personally, a lot of these traditional aspects that have been moving me to come back, that have been moving me to prayer, that have been moving me to bring my family to these churches. And it's that piece, I think, that a lot of people are missing. And if you want to see kind of some of these things specifically that I'm talking about, go check out that last video I mentioned about where are the young Catholics going, because it talks about the kind of things that young Catholics are seeking out. And this might be more specific to my geographic region, and it might not be transferable everywhere, but by and large, generally speaking, young Catholics, they want to be where the tradition is. They want to be where the sacred music is, where the traditional architecture is, where the solemn worship is. And do I think that we should get more of a say than any other demographic group? No. But I do think it's important to hear what we have to say, because we are the future of the church. We are the ones having the kids now who will be the future generations. So if we're planning something for hopefully centuries to come, which is their words, the All Things New campaign, it's important to listen to those people who will be around for most of that. I hope this video doesn't come off as accusatory of any group. Once again, I'm trying to marry the two. I'm trying to limit this bifurcation that is so violently growing in our church, in our society. I really want to strike this chord with people, is that parishes like the one that I am fighting for have beauty to them in their tradition that they can bring into a contemporary diocesan parish, keep people and draw people from everywhere, and they don't need to be completely dissolved. They can grow with future generations. They don't have to be completely just written off as a young adult parish or, you know, a boomer parish in the other direction. Like you can have both. And I think a healthy parish does have both. In the end, when we have the chance to make impactful feedback, when we have this little bit of time to really form how the future of our church is going to look, it's very important to be active, but to also pray and to reflect on what the Holy Spirit is calling you specifically to, your family to, but also to how to play a role in the bigger picture of our church. And I hope that everyone who is watching will pray for my Archdiocese of St. Louis, but also pray for the greater Mother Church, that we can have more of a unified message going forward that incorporates all forms of worship, not just one way or the other, and not pointing fingers at them saying they're the problem or you're the problem, she's the problem, he's the problem, but really saying that you could be the solution. I want to work with you, because together we can be a stronger, more holy, more universal Catholic Church. Hey, if this message resonated with you, I encourage you, please share our videos on your own social media to help get this word out. Thank you for listening. I hope it wasn't too much of a rant today. From all of us at Bishop Sheen Rosaries, please check out sheenrosaries.com. From us to you, through Mary.